what is wrong with Collin? Because I think everything that we talk about with Russ, going back to the dog situation, it's like, yes, I'm giving a dog boost to Russ for what he did today, without a doubt, 100%. But also, we can't forget who you. We say this a million times: when you assess dog after the fact, you have to assess who else they were going up against in that moment, because the whole point of the dog rankings is, if tied on the back nine, who would you take? Collin has been falling in the dog rankings. Collin has been losing every time that he plays. I thought he had it. He did have it. What all he had to do, he was playing perfect golf. He was playing perfect golf, Jers. It was all right in front of him. All he had to do was beat Russ Henley and Corey Connors, and he wins a signature event. The weight is off his shoulders. Everything is great again. But now they're probably as bad as they could ever be. Right? How could things be
Honestly,
better?
like this is serious. This is serious concern because going into the week, I mean, this was a perfect storm for Collin Morikawa this week. He's got the massive lead on the back nine. There's no wind in the forecast. It's perfect conditions. He's minting fairways. He's talking about how he's never hasn't hit his irons this good since 2021 in the media. He's striping it. Like looking at his stats, he gained 5 strokes on approach. Great week, but he lost over a stroke on Sunday. So he was having a generational week Thursday through Saturday, and he's speaking that he feels great. The conditions are perfect. Scotty and Rory are nowhere to be found. He has to beat Russell Henley and Corey Connors,
And Michael Kim.
and he does. And Michael Kim, what do we like? I'm usually one to like defend guys. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about Colin. It's tough. Really, real concern.
He is a two-time major champion.
No, low key, he was. I don't know if he is anymore.
I was wondering if he needs to give at least one of them back for what took place today.
He
Like,
definitely
just
has to give back the Open. I would say
like,
that.
yeah, give it to Louis. Give me
No, give it to
and
Jordan. Give it to
yeah, give it
Jordan.
to Jordan. That's fair. Jordan can have it. Louis doesn't deserve it. But yeah, he loses first round. He gained 0.4 on approach. Second round, he gained 1.8. Third round, 3.5. Fourth round, minus 1.5. I've said this before. My problem with Collin is every time he plays good, and he just literally, you just quoted what he said this week. It's always like, yeah, I found something in my swing this week and I'm striping it harder than like anyone's ever striped before. And I've just figured out golf. Like I didn't know how to play. I knew golf. I forgot golf. And now I've literally conquered it and I'm never going to forget it again. He says that every time he plays good. It's always
Yeah.
some quote about how like, oh, I'm swinging like I haven't since like my sophomore year at Cal when I was playing in the blah, blah, blah classic. You're like, okay, man. But why I need there to be more consistency. I need him to
Mm-hmm.
just, especially on the approach play. It's too, when he was at his peak, it was just week after week after week, he would mint the irons. And now it's always like he's got to find something to hit the irons.
Mm-hmm.
And you see what happens under pressure when you're not as dialed as you used to be.
Yeah, and like I had a decent inkling about Colin going into the week. I really wanted to get eyes on him. I really wanted to see him. And I looking at the forecast, I thought it was going to be a little bit too windy because he's never played well in the wind. Like this was the literal perfect storm for Colin to get a massive win, and obviously it did not pan out. So, I mean, he's heading to a golf course that makes sense for him. We saw him last year in this event really in a bad place mentally.
Bad.
Interested to see how Colin feels this week because he's going to be grinding. His game's probably in a much better spot than it was last year. But like, what's going on between the ears? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure.
What I was thinking about was the last time that we saw Collin after a bad beat. This one today, much worse than the one I'm about to reference. Wasn't even a bad beat. It was just he got beat by Scotty at Memorial right before the U.S. Open,
We were together.
because
Yeah.
we saw him the next day out at Pine. And what I was thinking was, I think we're going to see, because what you wrote up about Collin, I think your write up this week about Collin for the Boots Report was interesting, because basically you were saying that he was striping his irons, which he's striped his irons here before. He striped his irons the first few rounds. His driver, because it was windy on the Tuesday and Wednesday practice rounds, his driver didn't look good. It looked spinny in the wind. And because of that, you didn't like him in the wind. And because the forecast was showing wind, you were kind of out on him. But that he also was doing some of the most relaxed prep you've ever seen from
Mm-hmm.
Collin. Because we talk about Collin a lot being strokes gained prep to the max. He's playing a million holes. He's dropping balls at every inch of the property. You said he was chill. I think we're about to see they're gonna have to take Collin's clubs away from him. Like someone in his camp is gonna need to like lock his clubs away. If he wants to win the Players this week, someone's gonna have to protect him basically from himself. Because I think we're gonna go down there and see Collin from sun up to sundown golfing
Oh yeah.
repeatedly to be like, how did this happen and how do I fix it? I think he's gonna go to the extreme.
Honestly, I feel more bad. I feel bad for JJ more than anyone because he's gonna have a tough week of work ahead of him. A really tough because he's a great caddy, always with his guy. He's gonna be absolutely grinding this week. So, yeah, gonna be interesting.